Und damit willkommen zum neuen Projekt Banner of the Maid. Ein Spiel von Azure Flame Studios. Ist, glaube ich, chinesischen Ursprungs. Das heißt, wir werden hier, glaube ich, auch teilweise tatsächlich chinesisches Voice Acting haben. Aber alle Texte sollten eigentlich auf Englisch sein. So stand es bei Steam. Dieses Spiel ist einer der Spiele, die mal auf der Liste gelandet sind, die ich von den Zuschauern im Stream angefordert habe. Nur, dass dieses Spiel jetzt tatsächlich zu einem LP werden wird und nicht einfach nur zu einem angezockt. Also wer immer noch die Liste gepackt hat, freut sich darauf nicht drüber, keine Ahnung. Gut, welche Optionen? Ich habe ein bisschen bei den hier Volume-Sachen schon was reduziert und umgestellt. Ob das jetzt gut passt, das werden wir natürlich mit der Zeit eher herausfinden. Erste Folge ist immer so ein bisschen rantesten, was es anbelangt. Hier scheint mir nichts Wichtiges bei zu sein. Dann würde ich sagen, starten wir ein neues Spiel. Ich hoffe, ich schaffe das Spiel. Ich weiß nicht, wie schwer das ist. Es sollte vom Gameplay meines Eindrucks nach eine gewisse Ähnlichkeit mit Spielen wie Fire Emblem haben, also eher strategisch-taktisches RPG. Aber mal schauen. Ich bin gespannt. Wir legen los. Neues Spiel. Difficulty Selection. Wir haben 3 Schwierigkeitsgrade. Ich denke mal, den Emblemen nach zu urteilen ist Story Mode das simpelste. A very easy mode for players who are only interested in the storytelling. Ich denke mal, bei LPs manchmal echt drüber nach, ne? Aber nein. Officer Mode. You can save the game anytime during battles. Retreating causes no penalty. Start the game with a small amount of funds and reputation. This mode is suitable for first-time players. Das gilt irgendwie für uns, denn wir spielen das Spiel zum ersten Mal. Es gibt auch noch den General Mode. You can save only once in each battle. Retreating causes penalty to your reward earned. Start the game with no extra funds or reputation. This mode is suitable for players who like challenging gameplays. Ja, ich habe das Gefühl, ich werde auch hier schon mal challenging Gameplays haben. Wir picken Officer Mode. Das scheint mir hier der normale Modus zu sein. Let's go. Banner of the Maid. Prolog Night in Varins. Wahrscheinlich ist das Französisch. Ich spreche kein Wort Französisch. Also ist die Aussprache noch schlimmer als meine englische. Summer 1799, Varins, France.
Huh?
Varins is not far ahead. Are you sure that the king will be here? I can only hope that it's true, otherwise the King of France might already be in the territory of another country. Be vigilant, Marquis de Lafayette. If we don't bring the king back, the whole country will shake tomorrow. France can't afford this kind of blow during such a crucial moment. What is the king thinking? Can't he just stay put in the palace? Comté de Mirabeau. Oh Gott, ich hab mich so blamieren hier. Nimm's einfach hin. Having just recovered from serious illness, you should stay in Paris and rest. It was I who provided the intelligence. Of course I have the responsibility to accompany you and the troops there. I don't think they are the Garde Nationale.
原来如此。
It's the army of the Royalists. They must be here to pick up the king. Es wird ein bisschen ungewöhnlich, glaube ich, sein, wenn man so jetzt französische Charaktere hat und die sprechen Chinesisch teilweise. Das wird ein bisschen ungewöhnlich und random sein. Ich muss aber sagen, es stört mich nicht so sehr. Ich meine, das Spiel wurde nun mal da gemacht und ehrlich gesagt, ich persönlich mag die chinesische Sprache tatsächlich vom Klang her. Das heißt nicht, dass ich da was von verstehen würde. Abgesehen davon, dass es da wieder 1000 verschiedene Versionen gibt. Das müsste, glaube ich, vereinfacht, das Chinesisch sein jetzt hier. Aber, The army of the Royalists. They must be here to pick up the king. Then I'm counting on you. I'm not experienced in battlefield commanding or leading charges. Our actions tonight will change the fate of France. Marquis de Lafayette, please be sure to find the king and all of his entourage.
让我来吧。
Don't worry. You better take the time and think about how to persuade the king. What's that noise? Spielerphase. The enemy has been alerted and are guarding the bridge. Anyway, move to the enemy first. Get close to attack. Show no mercy to these traitors. Okay, ich hoffe, das Spiel bringt uns alles bei. Rechtsklick für Details. Ah ja, da ist unser Marquis de Lafayette. The Commander-in-Chief of the Garde Nationale, a general with great accomplishments. Okay. Er hat die Handschuhe des Marquis Lafayette. Ein Standard-Kavallerieschwert. Dragoon-Klasse. Act as the storyteller describes. Hit Chance plus 50%. Story of the past. Interessant. Als ob das jetzt eine Geschichte ist, die uns erzählt wird und dementsprechend haben wir Bonis. Oh. Interesting. Mal gucken.
不要松懈，革命的成败在此一举了。
Ja, unten steht gerade Text. Wenn die Charaktere Sachen komplett aussprechen, dann lest bitte selber unten. Das kann ich da nicht dazwischen klappern. Das ist ein bisschen blöd. Ich weiß jetzt nicht, was gut ist, aber ich greife mal an, oder? Attack. Okay, ich gucke die Wertung an. Power. MRI, keine Ahnung. Range, okay. Hit ist auch okay. Dodge ist auch okay. Nun kann ich was MRI ist. Attack Enemy Units in Range of Yellow Grids. Ja, das ist selbsterklärend. Also den Ergebnissen unten nachzusehen, sind wir in einem Disadvantage. Aber wir sind derartig stärker, dass es wohl egal ist. Gut. Na dann.
速战速决，冲啊！ 注意队形，乘风！
There's still one group of enemies left at the entrance of the town. I hope the king is still there. No time to waste. Get it done now.
还在磨蹭什么？快下命令！
Wir kommen hier eh nicht ganz ran, ne? Also... Vielleicht können wir versuchen, hinten zu kommen. So mögen Sie es in Frankreich. Unschön. Au.
速战速决，冲啊！
Natürlich wäre es gerade mit Briten Einheiten sicherer, in einer Range zum Gegner zu laufen, wo er nicht rankommt. Aber da wir anscheinend keine Zeit verlieren sollen,
不要松懈，
hoffentlich
革
jetzt
命
von
的成败
hinten kriegen
在此
können.
一举了。
Ja. Let's get him from behind.
注意队形，冲锋！
Ich mag das Artwork schon mal
速
ziemlich
战速
gerne.
决，冲啊！
Aber ich glaube, insgesamt können wir da eingestellt ein bisschen leiser machen. Mal gucken. The royalists were guarding this carriage. Let's get closer and take a look. Notes: a designated area. The designated areas that you need to reach are marked as yellow grids. Move into that area to complete your mission. Alles klar. Kann ich scheinbar das Menü aufrufen, ja? Kann ich einfach mit klicken? Nein? Schade. Kann dann auch warten, denke ich mal.
还在磨蹭什么？快下命令！
Ich denke mal, Heroic ist es machen sollen. Oder? Ne, könnte auch ein Superattacke sein. Like the messenger said, it's the carriage that the king took. I'll leave the searching in town to you as I stay here to guard the carriage. Please try not to cause a disturbance.
让我来吧。
I will deal with it, you can rest assured. Räuspern hier. Well, Madame, please step outside. Und er scheint ja genau zu wissen, dass Madame drin war und nicht der König. As I expected, it's her who stayed in the carriage. Surely you know what would happen next, yes? His Majesty is in the town and Marquis de Lafayette will find him soon enough. Please come back to Paris with us. What will happen to our family when we return to Paris?
总而言之，
The documents left by His Majesty confirm that he had betrayed the country and the people. You'll be detained as soon as you arrive in Paris. For France at this moment, betrayal is a delicacy in which friends inside and outside Paris are all eagerly waiting to take their bite.
What?
Then what will become of my children? The future of the royal family?
总而言之，
Your children will be taken care of. After all, they are from the bloodline of the royal family. In the current situation, their lives can only be held in the hands of others. Alright, please don't make any unnecessary resistance. This is the consequence of the royal family's behavior, and you must take responsibility. Ja, sparen können, hat's ja eigentlich gemacht. Okay, Magie. Hier eine Form von Magie gibt's hier also, alles klar. Sure enough, as predicted by the painting, the blue diamond has responded. Warum auch immer das jetzt in Blau kommt. Eben hat er doch auch in Weiß gedacht.
哦，
It seems that you are the person I'm looking for.
什么？
What do you mean? I'm not here for the king. What I'm looking for is the ability hidden in you. Anyway, what I'm about to say may be confusing to you. But please listen to it carefully. And then consider it seriously before answering my question. This is not only about you and me, but also the future of the country. Yelling and commotion can be heard in the distance. It seems that the king has been found. There's not much time. Please listen carefully. That was the most turbulent moment in my life. That was the most turbulent moment in my life. I escaped from the gate of death, and my hands hold the key to change the future of the country. That was the legacy that has been passed down for hundreds of years and appeared in many stories and legends. Women who are affected by it are inevitably caught in a torturous fate. Torturous. I hope this action won't be one of the many remorses in my life. I hope that they can become the maids of France that will make the country peaceful and stable. Five years later, outskirts of Toulon, France. So, the saying that the king was kidnapped is false? If the public knew the truth, the royal family should have been imprisoned, or even worse. It's just a story that I heard while drinking. I'm telling you the story because you, my young lady, are too bored on the road. It was just a story. Speaking of which, I have heard several versions of similar stories. But the woman who changed the royal family may truly exist. After her interventions, there have been many changes in the royal family.
Oh?
Oh, young lady? Do you really believe that so-called maid stuff? Wielding incredible talents, the maids were born to save the country in danger. I'm not sure. This young lady in military uniform claims to be a graduate of the École Militaire. École Militaire, keine Ahnung. Ever since women were allowed to join the army, the École Militaire received a batch of female students who passed special testing. Young lady, what's your name again? Pauline Bonaparte. Ein geschichtsträchtiger Nachname.
Oh?
A rare surname. You're not a Parisian, are you? I'm from Corsica.
说来话长。
What a coincidence. When I was young, I joined the army and went to Corsica. Speaking of that... Oh, never mind. What topic do you wish to discuss? Die Situation in Frankreich, das Ziel unserer Reise. Es gibt nichts weiter zu sagen. Diskutieren wir erstmal die Situation in Frankreich aus. Speaking of that, when I was young, I really couldn't believe a revolution would really happen. 7 years ago, the king summoned the Estates General to solve financial problems. That's right. The clergy for the first estate, the nobility for the second estate, and the commoners for the third estate. The Estate General intensified the contradictions between the estates, and finally a revolution took place in Paris. The Bastille was stormed and the king compromised, resulting in the legitimation of the current ensemble.
Oh?
Well, you're quite familiar with the history. And then what do you think of the revolution? I was in Corsica 7 years ago and didn't know too much about Paris. I learned all of it later in the École Militaire. But in the past few years, although the power of the nobility has been weakened, the royal family stood unaffected. Well, the royal family changed their attitude after that, supported the reform of the assembly, and did a lot of unprecedented things. For example, girls like you were enrolled in the École Militaire. That's a policy promoted by the royal family, and they have made good use of the publicity. I know this too, but a soldier should not care too much about the political issue. I can see that you don't care about politics, otherwise you would have known me. Really? Never mind. Speaking of the military. Which topic are you going to discuss? Wir haben jetzt mehr Optionen. Aber ich mach mal von oben weiter. Das Ziel unserer Reise.
我们这一代的革命已经结束了。
Young lady, have you ever been transferred to Toulon? There's a war going on there. On here, as I know. My older brother is also a soldier, and he's serving in Toulon. I'm here to take a vacation. In my opinion, Now is not the time for military personnel to take a vacation. Domestic rebellions happen from time to time, and the wars with neighboring countries are also ongoing. As you said, as a soldier, it's time to fight for the country on the front line.
Oh?
Well? Then why are you... To be honest, I have just experienced a fierce battle recently. Well, it was said to be a victory according to the final result.
我们这一代的革命
Well,
已经结束了。
I can tell it from your medal. Even if it's awarded by the royal family as a response to the current situation, it must be a considerable degree of military merit. But the casualties were overwhelmingly heavy, which made me start to doubt whether I am suitable as a soldier.
Oh?
So, you came here to talk to your brother about it? Yes. It was also my brother's recommendation that led me to apply to the École Militaire. Although he's strange and ambitious to outsiders, he's definitely a qualified soldier. Huh? It's a bit odd to hear such comments from someone's own sister. But speaking of Toulouse, it's definitely not a good place for a vacation now. The ongoing battle in Toulouse. It has been half a year already since the traitors within the city helped the foreigners' army to occupy Toulouse. The nearby cities that are affected by the war are also in panic. Alas, people are suffering too much. This war must be ended as soon as possible.
可是，
However, it is strange that not only the neighboring countries, Prussia and Austria, are attacking the city, but also the British. Since the House of Bourbon is still here, even if... Bourbon wahrscheinlich, eher keine Ahnung. Ich weiß es nicht. Aussprachen. Entsprechend der Länder. Even if they're worried about the impact of the revolution, they shouldn't be rushing to wage war. Even His Majesty supports the Assembly to engage in war. It's really... Well, it's really abnormal, and there may be some unknown power in the back. Are you saying like the power of the Maids? Who knows? However, it is not a strange thing for the king to support the war.
说来话长，
Although the king has temporarily won the support of the people, the power of the royal family and the nobility are still weakening. If the revolutionist regime is defeated by foreign troops, they will regain power. Do they even know how many people will die for this? Too bad. Perhaps I really have chosen the wrong person. Just my personal conjecture. In any case, war is inevitable. Ja, damit haben wir alles gesagt. Es gibt hier nichts mehr zu sagen. Ich will mal kurz das Menü gucken. Ah, super. Es ist ganz oft so in solchen Spielen, dass man immer und überall saven kann. Ich wollte mal gucken, ob das hier stimmt, und hier ist es auch so. Will ich jetzt schon leiser machen? Ich lasse mal die erste Folge jetzt, wo sie ist, damit ich sie nachher einschätzen kann. Dann mal gucken, ne? Ja, mal gucken. There's nothing else to say. Glory on the battlefield, defending the country. We joined the army for this purpose. But when we actually stepped into the battlefield, it was totally a different thing. Hundreds of people will either survive or die on the battlefield because of our decisions.
我
How can one take up these responsibilities? That I don't know. I'm not familiar with military affairs. However, you see, whether you are of the royal family or the common folks, who can really say if they can dominate their own fate? And according to my decades of experience, fate, well, fate often won't give you much choice. What do you think, young lady? In order to not make mistakes, would you let go of the opportunity to change your fate? Surely not. So much for the talk. We are nearing Toulon. Well, it looks like my ride ends here. The person that my brother sent to pick me up should be near. And then I'll bid you farewell. If you happen to visit me in Paris, I'll prepare more interesting stories and some refreshments for you. Thank you, and I have a few words to say to you before I leave. Yes. Your storytelling skills could use some work. Please do hone your speech before we meet next time. Sorry. This is the first time I had such an audience. This was the first time I saw Pauline Bonaparte. After that, she set foot on the battlefield again. And when we meet again in Paris. That's several months later. Chapter 1. The Cannons of Toulon. Is the guy who's supposed to pick me up still not here yet? I haven't seen Brother Napoleon for more than a year. He's about news about his military merits on the front line can be heard from time to time. Also tatsächlich original die Schwester in dieser Alternative History, okay. This area was once downtown. When the war broke out, civilians were evacuated, leaving only a mess here. People just want a stable and peaceful life, but they can't get it because of the war. Having said that, how come no one is coming? Did I come to the wrong place? Sound of incoming bombardment. Hätte ich mir denken können. Aber vielleicht ist es ja für Leute, die nicht hören kann. We never know. Artillery? And the distance, it's very close. Sound of marching? Ich glaube, wenn ab jetzt die Sounds dafür kommen, dann lese ich das nicht mehr vor, ja? Damn it. It's the enemy force. They have already advanced this far. I have to find a place to hide immediately. Zurück auf dem Schlachtfeld. Ich schätze mal, das ist der Herr, der uns abholen soll. Did that young lady come this way? Could she happen to be Bonaparte's sister?
Bonaparte 小姐
Can you hear me, Mademoiselle Bonaparte? No response. I'll have to search this entire area. Who's that blockhead yelling on the street? He might as well lead the enemies to us directly. I guess he must be the one sent by my brother. I can join him and escape from here. Anyway, let me check out the surroundings and find a place where we can meet. Tutu, it's the enemy scouts, a group of scattered soldiers. I need to defeat them to reach the intersection in the front. In any case, the safety at Mademoiselle Bonaparte must be guaranteed. There's a chain of advantages against other classes among the various classes of units. Your damage and hit chance against the target will be increased when you are in advantage, decreased when you are in a disadvantage. So ein bisschen wie im klassischen älteren Fire Emblem, ne? Wo man mit, wie war das nochmal? Schwerter schlagen Äxte, Äxte schlagen Speere und Speere schlagen Schwerter, irgendwie so. Ich weiß nicht mehr genau, ich glaube so war's. Leclerc, wahrscheinlich völlig falsch ausgesprochen. Chasseur Cheval is light cavalry, which is an advantage against light infantry, but a disadvantage against heavy cavalry. Ich schätze mal, dass die Dragoons die Heavy Cavalry waren. Und deswegen hatten die ein Disadvantage gegen die Schützen wiederum. Also gegen die leichte Infanterie. Gut. Zweite Mission, ne? Ja gut, 2 Missions am Anfang machen schon Sinn. Wir haben bisher nur Tutorial. Und die Folge ist auch nicht allzu lang. Ich werde wahrscheinlich die Folgen wieder so lassen wie immer, ne? Bei Hauptprojekten immer so versuchen zwischen 35 und 45. Manchmal ist es ein bisschen kürzer, manchmal ein bisschen länger. Wahrscheinlich wisst ihr schon Bescheid. Wenn nicht, wisst ihr es jetzt. Okay, man kann wahrscheinlich hier rüber klettern, ne? Das ist, was wir dieses Zeichen sagen sollen. 18 Lebenspunkte hat sie, aber die anderen haben auch nicht wirklich mehr. Gut. Sie kann ja schon mal loslaufen. You cannot cancel the movement after exchanging items while using skills. Was war Inspired jetzt überhaupt für ein Skill? Ich habe keine Ahnung. Okay. Also wir können das doch untersuchen, was am Boden lag, weil ich dachte nicht, ob wir das untersuchen könnten. It's a military cap of one of our soldiers and it was hit by several bullets. It seems that the front line has expanded to this town. The port is said to be occupied by British warships. I guess the situation is not looking very optimistic. I don't know how many soldiers have already been sacrificed on the battlefield. I'll take it with me. If I meet anyone friendly, it's easier for them to recognize me. Ah ja. Also habe ich das jetzt wegen dem Befehl nicht ausgeführt aufgehoben oder hätte ich es eh aufgehoben? Keine Ahnung. Broken Military Head. Okay. So, und du fängst an jetzt durchzupushen hier, oder? Sei unser Held. Du hast auch ein bisschen Brot, damit kann er sich heilen. Sehr gut zu wissen. Ja, der Vorteil ist spürbar. Aber wir sind hier in Unterzahl, ne? Ich habe alleine, schafft ihr die nicht alle. Schön ausgewichen. Das könnte übrigens ein kleines L sein. Das ist kein MRI, sondern MRL, oder? Und das steht für Moral. Also vielleicht gibt es hier einen Moralbalken, zum Beispiel der gelbe Balken, und der hat auch noch was zu bedeuten. The battlefield contains various terrains. Terrains affect the performance of troops, sometimes obstruct their movement. For example, it's harder to move through the puddles in the town, and fighting in the puddles reduces your chances of dodging enemy attacks. Also wollen wir nicht irgendwie reinmarschieren, ne? Wenn möglich. Aber das sieht auch wieder aus, was ich aufheben kann. Aber jetzt habe ich diesen Befehl nicht, also vielleicht war es gerade Blödsinn, was ich gemacht habe. Exchange zwischen Charakteren, wahrscheinlich was austauschen, ne? Okay, wir haben 2 Arten von Musketen. Die experimentelle hat aber mehr Reichweite. Das ist ziemlich nice, gut. Okay, die Sachen, die sie findet sie automatisch. Was ich immer gerade gemacht habe, hat mir nichts gebracht. In this basket is a bundle of fleur-de-lis. The petals are already withered. Under the rubble, a dead body. Seems to be some civilian who didn't have the time to evacuate. It is not the time for sentimentality. Keep moving forward. Eat this basket. Okay. So, ich habe hier ist überall Paddel, ne? Ja, das Dumme ist, ich muss ja in den Paddel jetzt, sonst bin ich der Einzige, der nicht im Paddel ist. Oder ich gehe hier hin und erwarte seinen Angriff. Das könnte auch ein Fehler sein. Wenn er mich jetzt trifft, ist es ein Fehler. Wenn er mich nicht trifft, wegen dem Paddel... Ne, er trifft mich. Hätte ich besser angreifen können. Okay, jetzt haben wir irgendwie irgendwas voll gemacht. Das ist diese Heroics, die man nutzen kann, wir im letzten Kampf nicht rausfinden. Moral. Hit or defeat enemies to increase your moral. When your moral counter is full, you can use the Heroic Attack command. Heroic Attack increases your damage and hit chance, as well as grants you extra experience. Oh. Da man meistens mehr Erfahrung bekommt, wenn man Gegner ausschaltet, könnte es relevant sein, also diese Heroics zu nutzen, um jemanden auch wirklich zu besiegen, oder? Das ist natürlich jetzt nur Theorie aus anderen Spielen, aber mache ich ja öfter mal. Ich glaube, ich soll auch diese Dinger lang laufen, ne? Diese Flagge werde ich jetzt auch aufheben. Oder? Ja. A piece of burned banner. Not long ago, I was fighting with my comrades under this banner. Soldiers fought under my command, and although they eventually repelled the enemy, most of them were killed. Was my leadership good enough? Trophy, received a broken banner and sent to warehouse. Und dann nutzen wir jetzt den Ulti, weil das macht ja Sinn. Heroic. Mit der Rifle, ja.
战斗吧，诸位！今天的胜利会成为美好明天的基石。
Gut. Items. HP represents the organization of a troop. When it's reduced to 0, that troop will have to retreat. When your troops loses too much HP, you can recover it by using items via the item command. Unlike weapons, items will permanently disappear when used up. Okay. Heißt also, nach Kämpfen werden die Waffen wahrscheinlich wieder aufgefüllt, die Anwendungen, oder? Und die Items nicht? Aber das ist dann würde ich das Brot lieber sparen wollen, jetzt ehrlich gesagt. Dann spare ich das Brot lieber. Ich darf nicht zu sparsam sein, aber... Oh, der Paddel, der bremst uns aber hart aus, ne? Ist noch zu weit weg, ne? Klar, 2 Felder nur. Aber er hat Geduld anscheinend. Das freut mich. So, mein Freund, meine Dame. Wie sieht's aus? Können wir jetzt darüber marschieren? Scheinbar nicht, weil du jetzt irgendwie als Komm angezeigt wirst. Ach so, weil ich soll beide ans Ziel bringen, klar. Also er soll alle Kämpfe alleine machen. Alles klar. Kann ich gucken, wie weit der Gegner laufen kann? Ja, kann ich. Ich kann aus seiner Angriffsreichweite sehen. Und die ist natürlich genauso, dass er mich, sobald ich aus dem Paddel rauskomme, angreifen kann. Aber es ist komplett egal, was ich mache. Ich heile es nochmal nicht. Kann natürlich sein, dass das Boot sich aufhält, solange man es nicht komplett verbraucht, ne? Aber ich weiß es nicht. Wir gewinnen den Kampf jetzt auf jeden Fall auch ohne das Brot, deswegen spare ich es lieber. Auch wenn es vielleicht Unfug ist, gerade weil es ein Tutorial gerade noch ist, aber ich mach's. Ich schätze mal, von hinten angreifen ist immer noch vorteilhaft. Immer knackig geworden, ne? Wenn die jetzt irgendwie Crit machen würden, wenn wir beim Pop ist. Das wäre ärgerlich jetzt zu verlieren im Tutorial. Ja, okay. Und das war's. We won. Are you Mademoiselle Bonaparte? This must be the guy who was yelling. His voice was so loud. Excuse me, are you with my brother Napoleon? I am the subordinate of your brother, Charles Leclerc. Well, just like he described, Mademoiselle Pauline, you have the temperament that fits this military uniform perfectly. Is that what my brother said? Das müssen Sie natürlich vertonen, das ist wichtig, auch für die Zukunft. Wahrscheinlich. Except Mademoiselle Josephine, you are the one he talked about most. However, the fits this military uniform part is my own opinion. Thank you. There are a few people in the military who speak like you, Mr. Liller. Man or woman. Some people are born to be soldiers. Let's stop talking and standing here and go back to the camp first. There's an enemy line nearby and it will be dangerous to stay for too long. Sound of... Ja, ich wollte nicht mehr sagen. Look out, Pauline! Also, wie lässt das ja nicht locker? Wir haben gerade das kennengelernt, nicht gleich sterben, oder? It's the enemy. Artillery. Retreat now. Leclerc! Nicht sterben jetzt direkt am Anfang. French Camp, Toulon.
Paulina.
The battle begins in 4 hours. Are you still the determined soldier that I knew?
拿破仑哥哥，
Is it you, Brother Napoleon? Leclerc asked me to bring you a message that you owe him a big favor. Don't forget to return it later. Er lebt zumindest noch, okay.
真的吗？
Monsieur Leclerc, is he alright now? His legs were broken from diving in order to save you, and he returned to Paris to rest tomorrow. If I had paid more attention to my surroundings, I would have noticed that the area had already been bombarded once by the enemy. It was my poor judgment that led to Monsieur Leclerc's serious injury. Bad luck happens from time to time on the battlefield. Don't blame yourself. I've heard of your victory on the front line. You won the battle, but with heavy casualties. What did you expect, to get some compliments from me? Although the enemy was defeated and I was exceptionally commended, I can't forget the soldiers who died in the battle, and I can't praise our victory.
我
Should I really be considered a qualified leader? It was I who brought you to Paris, and it was I who suggested that you enter the École Militaire. Am I doing something wrong? No. It was my own decision to become a soldier. Recall your original intention of joining the army, Pauline. At this very moment, the war is still going on. The commander agreed to my plan not long ago. Tonight, we will launch a general attack on the enemy's position. Once the fortress is occupied, we can then use the cannons to drive the British warships out of Toulouse. It's time for this battle to end. Since the Glur is injured, I need another adjutant. What say you? Are you coming with me? Make your decision. Indecisive people are unworthy of the battlefield.
就这样办吧。
If you don't want to be a soldier anymore, I will arrange someone to send you back to Corsica. I will stay, brother. Tell me about the battle plan. Good. Then find yourself something to eat first. You can't go to the battlefield with an empty stomach. Come to me when you're ready. The Lur's injury is my responsibility, but I still can't leave the battlefield. Protect the people like us from the anguish of war. It's for this reason that we decided to join the army. Chapter 2: The Maid of Toulouse.
开炮！
Speichert auch immer mal in solchen Situationen. Wäre eigentlich ganz cool. Hätte die Folge jetzt fast schon gerne beendet, ehrlich gesagt. Na gut, wir warten bis zu diesen Speicheroptionen, ne? Keep firing. The enemy's resistance is still very strong. The battle against the enemy positions began in the afternoon and continued until the evening. The target of the attack is Fort Mulgrave, the most heavily fortified position of the enemy's defense around Toulouse, and also the key point of my brother's plan. Once we occupy this position, our artillery can bombard the British warships in the port from the high ground, block their reinforcements, and retreat routes at sea, and turn the tide of battle in one fell swoop. At the moment, our army has suppressed the enemy artillery, but still hasn't gained a decisive advantage. If the situation continues this way... Hello, Rose? Bonaparte, it's turning into a prolonged battle. The power of our artillery will be limited if we hold off till the nighttime. This is Rose de Beaumont, the artillery commander who's supporting my brother's offensive. Her name alone indicates that she's a noble, which is quite rare in the revolutionist-dominated army. Most aristocratic officers have been replaced by the revolutionists. Only a few continue to serve in the army due to the influence of the queen. Rose de Beaumont is the most distinguished amongst them. Speaking of the legend of the maids, it has been taboo for the past hundreds of years, as it's always related to witches and heresy. Recently, there have been positive rumors spreading in the country, precisely because of the performance of General Rose de Beaumont on the battlefield and the publicity of the royal family. The remaining shells are sufficient to support 3 or 4 rounds of artillery support. It's time to make a decision. Hubert, Rose de Beaumont, pay attention to the tone of your voice. This is not the era when your nobles can criticize and boss around people in the army. Your responsibility is to coordinate the artillery, not issuing combat orders. This man is Hubert Mondego, the supervising adjutant sent by the general. There are many rumors about him in the army. His former superiors have all become big shots, so he's been rapidly promoted in the army. Officers who haven't received formal training like him aren't uncommon nowadays. Commander Bonaparte surely has his plan. Your reminder is unnecessary. Or are you just trying to take credit for his work with your so-called instinct of the maid? I'm just speaking as a common soldier. Indeed, we don't have enough ammunition or enough time. It's now or never. Concentrate all the shells and launch the final bombardments on the enemy positions. I'll lead the infantry charge. We must seize the opportunity to occupy the battery on the shore.
Polina.
You're with me. As for Monsieur Mondego, do you want to participate in the charge with us? About that, I caught a cold on the way here, so I'm not in condition for the charge. Natürlich nicht. Then you'll be commanding the artillery support. I have already issued the plan to my subordinates. All you need to do is fire as planned.
什么？
Well, the bombarding is crucial to the offensive. I will see to it personally. Ja, verkack's nicht bitte, Hubert. Du machst gar nicht den besten Eindruck. The troops are ready and waiting for orders, sir. Rainy day combat is extremely tough, and the most important thing is to inspire the soldiers' courage. Put your abilities to good use, Pauline.
没问题，看我的吧。
Let me know if you need my support anytime, Pauline. Ich spare mir jetzt alle Sprüche.
好的，
Understood.
狠狠的打！
Get ready for the first round of bombardment. Fire! Ist ja gesessen. Brace yourselves! We're on a fierce bombardment from the enemy! Hold the line! As long as we hold Fort Mulgrave, the victory is ours! Das ist die erste richtige Schlacht, hm? Und wir sind stark outnumbered. Rain. Ich mag Regen, aber wahrscheinlich hier nicht, ja? The dodge chance of troops, both friendly units and enemy units, will decrease in the rain. Okay. Units marked with ally are temporary friendly troops of your side. They won't earn EXP during battles. Units marked with com are friendly troops that act on their own. Try your best to defeat enemies with Pauline herself to maximize the XP earned. Ja, dachte ich mir jetzt auch schon. Gut, aber danke, dass du mal sagst. Und ich glaube, dass wir speichern dürfen, hoffentlich mal. Wenn ich jetzt rausfinde, wie man das Menü öffnet. Okay, jetzt weiß ich es aber. Okay, gut. Ich kann hier saven, das ist gut. Ja, die erste Folge ist ein bisschen länger geworden. Das kann wahrscheinlich öfter in diesem Spiel passieren, weil ich muss ja warten, bis ich saven kann. Ich danke euch jedenfalls fürs Zusehen. Ich bin gespannt, wie es weitergeht. Bisher gefällt es mir sehr gut, macht einen sehr guten ersten Eindruck, aber ich denke mal, diese erste Schlacht wird erstmal zeigen, wie hier überhaupt alles vonstatten geht und ob ich eine Chance habe. Ja, ich danke fürs Zusehen. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Vielleicht gefällt es euch ja auch. Bye bye, bis dann.